The rock cycle. The rock cycle is just like other cycles we have on the earth. We have the water cycle, we have life cycles. Well, rocks have a cycle as well. And with the rock cycle, there are basic processes that take place within this cycle. The first one we look at is melting. Melting happens deep below the Earth's surface, where all three kinds of rock can melt to become magma. Our next process is cooling and hardening. This happens on or below the Earth's surface, where magma cools and hardens to form igneous rock. Now this happens a lot near volcanoes where magma and lava come to the surface. Next we have weathering and erosion. Weathering breaks rocks into tiny particles, forming sediment. Erosion moves the sediment to other places where it is deposited. This is when rocks are broken down into smaller pieces. So you have a big, large rock like a mountain or a boulder that is broken down into tiny pieces about the size of grains of sand. So sand would be an example of sediment. Then we have squeezing and cementing. The sediment is squeezed and cemented together to form sedimentary rock. So that sand is squeezed together, it's pushed together with pressure. So much so until it's actually stuck together or glued together, which is what we call cementing. Then we have squeezing and heating. Heat and pressure change sedimentary rock and igneous rock into metamorphic rock. So then we have rocks, sedimentary or igneous, are squeezed until the heat and pressure are so intense that they actually change into a different type of rock, which then becomes known as a metamorphic rock. Here is a diagram of the rock cycle. Down here we have magma, which mainly comes from volcanoes and cracks in the Earth's surface. Does not have to come from a volcano. Any place where magma comes up to the surface or even below the surface where it can cool and harden to become igneous rock. Then once this igneous rock is here, it has three different directions it could go. It could either melt, heat up and melt back down into magma. It can be weathered and eroded, broken down into sediment. Or it could be squeezed and heated to become metamorphic. So if we follow this igneous rock, let's say that it is weathered and eroded and becomes a sediment. Okay? Once that sediment is weathered and eroded, it's deposited, and then layer after layer, then it is squeezed and cemented together to become sedimentary rock. Once we have sedimentary rock, three things could happen. The sedimentary rock can be weathered and eroded back into sediment to then form a new sedimentary rock. Or it could be melted, heated up and melted, and turned back into magma or lava. Or it could be squeezed and heated and turned into metamorphic rock. So here we have the sedimentary rock. Let's follow it around, squeezing and heating to become metamorphic rock. Once we have a metamorphic rock, a couple things can happen. It can either be weathered and eroded into sediment, or it can be melted back down into magma.